Today, I'm going to complete an X-Men comic book run that I've been trying to finish since I was a little kid. My dad's hobby has always been flying, and mine has been collecting comic books. So my dad offered to take me today. Dad, do you know what the X-Men are?
Of course, I had one of the original comic books.
Really?
Back in the day, yep.
Do you remember which one?
The first ones. When they first came out, my brother was really into it, Michael. He loved the X-Men.
When I was a little kid, you took me to Comics Plus.
Yeah.
And you bought me my very first wall book. And this is it, X-Men number 141. Do you have any memory of Comics Plus or going there at all?
No, not at all. I'm old.
So Dad, tell us about your plane.
This is a twin Cessna, a 340A. It's got two 335 horsepower engines. It's pressurized, has 6 seats, and flies up to 25,000 feet and does over 200 miles an hour. We got it about 10 years ago, and we take it to Florida and Maine and to go buy comic books.
Let's pull it out.
All righty. Let's see, I got to unplug her. Let me start this first. So heavy, I need a tug. Monmouth traffic, twin Cessna departing 3-2 at Monmouth, departing to the west. Everything's in the green. Crosswind from the left.
Going to Frederick, Maryland to pick up very last X-Men comic. I need to complete my collection. Tell me about the flight plan.
Well, right now we're flying direct to Frederick. Looks like it's going to be over an hour getting there because of the headwinds. Good morning, McGuire. Cessna 340 Mike Echo just off of Monmouth. Request.
Number 340 Mike Echo McGuire approach, copy Thursday request.
We're BFR to Foxtrot Delta Kilo, request flight following, climb to 8,500. We're using flight following so the people on the ground are watching us, keeping us safe.
Number 0 Mike Echo, squawk 0422.
0422, Mike Echo.
How did you get into flying?
My dad was a pilot and he wanted all his kids to be pilots. So he offered to put all of us through flight training and only 3 of us completed it.
Do you remember your first flight?
I remember some of the flights, yeah, it was fun. Something to do, something other people don't usually do at 16.
16 years old?
Yep.
Wow.
I could fly before I could drive, before I got my driver's license. Currently over Philadelphia Airport.
Out of all your hobbies, why'd you stick with this one since you were a kid?
I think I enjoyed this the most.
Yeah.
It paid off later in life because now I have a home in Maine and I can use it to fly there. I've already flown to Florida 3 times this year. You and I flew to Charleston to buy a comic book a few years back.
When I was a kid, I at some point was like, I'm going to own every single one of these comic books, even though this is an incredibly ridiculous thing to do.
Right.
You used to fly with your dad. What was the coolest place you ever went with your dad?
We flew to Florida once. Mostly we just flew around in circles just to fly.
Just to fly.
I also use the aircraft for business, too.
Dragon 847, you're...
Used to fly to food shows. That has been in 4 or 5 hours driving. You could fly there in an hour, and there's a lot of room in the back for the equipment. Our trips got longer when you fly faster. Instead of just going to Atlantic City for breakfast, we'd fly to North Carolina for breakfast or fly to Maine for breakfast. Usually fast, but like I said, we have a strong headwind today. It's probably over a 60-mile-an-hour headwind. Once you start flying and taking trips, you always want something faster.
I had taken lessons, and I soloed across country once. Were you disappointed that I didn't finish my license?
A little bit, but if you're not into it, you're not into it. Maybe later on in life, you know how to do it. It's like riding a bike, you never forget.
You never envisioned not flying with you. So it always seemed like having a license would be funny because I just Why would I want to fly if I'm not with you, you know? I like to fly with my dad.
Right.
I should have finished.
But you can later on when you have more time.
Yeah.
Gotta have hobbies when you retire.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you sit around and watch TV all day. Cessna is right base for 30.
November 340 Mike Echo, roger, runway 30, clear to land.
30 cleared to land, 0 Mike Echo.
We landed at Frederick, Maryland. Just gotta wait for this comic book to arrive. Find a spot up here. Nice place. A little nervous. Hoping I can get a good price for this comic book. We'll see what we can do. Thanks so much for meeting us here. This is incredible. You're gonna help me finish my journey of the very last X-Men comic that I need to complete my collection.
Like, it's pretty significant to make a trip just for a book to hunt it down for your collection, and being the last one, that's pretty special. I've been collecting since I was in 5th grade. I'm on Instagram at Tim the Treasure Hunter. I'd rather sell like books that I've collected over the last 30 plus years to personal collectors like yourself, and then just kind of like rehoming comics that I've learned to love and enjoy over the years to people that can love and enjoy them as well.
This is a pretty big book. Do you know anything about it?
X-Men 94 from 1975. This is the actual first team appearance in the ongoing title after the giant size X-Men. This book kicked off the Chris Claremont run. We got a lot of second appearances in it. Well, Nightcrawler, Storm, Thunderbird, and Colossus. And then the next issue is the one when Thunderbird dies in that one.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
In a comic book at a time.
Build a character up and then kill him off right away. But then sometimes those tragic events kind of pull characters together and make them a stronger team.
How much are we talking for X-Men 94 in a 6.0 condition? What are you asking for this?
I had $550 on it.
You had $550 on this. $550 does seem like a lot. I think it's more towards like the $400 to $450 area or so. Would you do $400?
I can't go down to $400. That's a little low, but I could probably meet you at like $450 or so.
At $450, I'll definitely buy this from you.
Awesome.
So thanks so much for meeting me.
You're welcome.
This was excellent.
It was a pleasure.
So we picked up X-Men number 94, the last X-Men comic book to complete my Uncanny X-Men run, all the way up to the current issues that are coming out today. We're gonna head back home.
Yep, should be quick, only 40 minutes. We'll have a 50-knot tailwind.
It was an amazing day.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Dinner was good too.
Thanks for taking me, Dad. Love you, Dad.
Love you too, bye.
Now, I obviously could have just bought this comic book on eBay, but this trip was really about spending quality time with my dad. I wanted to find a way to combine both of our hobbies, and planning this adventure was the perfect way to do it. It's also something that I hope my son, Calvin IV, will watch one day. Let me know in the comments where we should fly next. And if you want to see more trips like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.